The arrival. In the vast expanse of the Andromeda Galaxy, the Galactic Academy of Sciences stood as a beacon of knowledge and progress. Its crystalline spires reached towards the stars, a testament to the advanced civilizations that called this sector of space home. For millennia, the brightest minds from across the galaxy had congregated here, pushing the boundaries of science and technology. Zara X, a young Andromedian with iridescent scales and 4 arms, practically bounced with excitement as she made her way through the Academy's grand halls. Today marked the beginning of her final year, and she was determined to graduate at the top of her class. Her telepathic abilities hummed with the thoughts and emotions of her fellow students, a cacophony of anticipation and nervousness. As she entered the central auditorium for the welcoming ceremony, Zora X's antenna twitched. Something felt different. The usual mix of alien races was present: the crystalline quartz beings, the gaseous nebulans, the silicon-based silicoids. But there was a new presence, one that felt oddly muted to her telepathic senses. Chancellor Xylovox, a towering being of pure energy, materialized at the center of the stage. His booming voice echoed through the minds of all present. Esteemed students and faculty, welcome to another year at the Galactic Academy of Sciences. This year, we have the honor of participating in a groundbreaking initiative. For the first time in our history, we welcome a student from a newly discovered world in the Milky Way galaxy. Please join me in greeting Alex Chen of Earth. A hush fell over the auditorium as a figure stepped onto the stage. Zara X's eyes widened in disbelief. The being before them was unlike anything she had ever seen. It stood on 2 legs, with only 2 arms and a rounded head covered in dark filaments. Its skin was a pale pink, lacking any bioluminescence or protective exoskeleton. Whispers and thoughts ricocheted around the room. Is that a primate? How did such a primitive species gain admission? It looks so fragile. How does it survive? Zara X found herself oddly fascinated. The human's mind was like a fortress, impenetrable to her telepathic probes. She had never encountered a species with such natural mental defenses. Alex Chen stood awkwardly on the stage, his eyes darting nervously around the room. When he spoke, it was with a physical voice, the sound waves feeling almost archaic to the telepathically advanced audience. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm honored to represent Earth and humanity at this esteemed institution. The reaction from the crowd was mixed. Some students projected curiosity, others disdain. Zara X felt a twinge of sympathy for the alien being. She remembered her first day of the academy, how overwhelming it had been to be surrounded by so many advanced species. As the ceremony concluded and students began to file out, Zara X overheard a group of nebulans discussing the human. Did you see how it communicates? With sound waves. How quaint. I heard their planet hasn't even achieved unified government yet. They're still divided into nation-states. Why would the Academy admit such an underdeveloped species? It's going to slow down the entire class. Zara X frowned. While it was true that humanity seemed far behind most galactic civilizations, there was something intriguing about their presence here. What had the admissions board seen in this species? Her musings were interrupted as she quite literally bumped into the subject of her thoughts. Alex Chen stumbled backward, looking flustered. "I'm so sorry," he exclaimed, his voice sounding strange to Zara X's sensitive hearing. "I'm still getting used to the gravity here." Zara X instinctively reached out with her mind to steady him, only to encounter that impenetrable mental barrier again. "Fascinating. No harm done," she replied, using her vocal cords for the first time in years. The words felt clumsy in her mouth. "I'm Zara X. Welcome to the Academy." Alex's face contorted in what Zara X assumed was an expression of gratitude. "Thank you, Zara X. I'm Alex. I have to admit, I'm feeling a bit out of my depth here." Before Zara X could respond, a group of silicoids approached, their crystalline bodies glinting in the artificial light. Well, if it isn't the talking ape," one of them projected telepathically. the thought dripping with disdain. Tell us, primitive, do you even understand the basic principles of quantum mechanics? Or are you still marveling at the wheel? Alex's face flushed red, a reaction Zora X found curious. The human opened his mouth to respond, but no sound came out. Feeling a sudden urge to defend the newcomer, Zora X interjected. The admissions board clearly saw potential in Alex and his species. Perhaps we should withhold judgment until we see what he's capable of. The silicoids projected waves of amusement. Always the diplomat, Zora X very well. We'll see how long this experiment lasts before the primitive washes out. As they walked away, Alex turned to Zora X. Thank you for that. You didn't have to defend me. Zora X was surprised to feel a warmth in her chest at his words. We were all new once. Besides, I'm curious to see what humans are capable of. Your mental barriers are unlike anything I've encountered before. Alex's eyes widened. Mental barriers? I'm not sure what you mean. Before Zora X could explain, the hall's chronometer chimed, signaling the start of their first class. We should go, Zora X said. We have quantum entanglement theory first. Try not to let the others get to you. Actions speak louder than thoughts in this place. As they made their way to class, Zora X couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to this human than met the eye. His presence at the academy was unprecedented, and she was determined to uncover the reason behind it. Little did she know, Alex Chen carried with him a secret that would shake the very foundations of the galactic community. A secret that would prove that humanity, for all its perceived primitiveness, possessed a power that the most advanced civilizations in the universe had yet to grasp. The stage was set for a year that would change everything. As the doors to the quantum entanglement classroom slid open, Zora X and Alex stepped into a future neither of them could have imagined. The human experiment at the Galactic Academy of Sciences had begun, and the universe would never be the same. The challenge. The first few weeks at the Galactic Academy of Sciences passed in a blur of lectures, simulations, and heated debates. Zora X found herself constantly torn between her fascination with the human, Alex Chen, and her ingrained belief in the superiority of more advanced species. It was during their theoretical xenobiology class that things came to a head. Professor Zycon, a being of pure thought encased in a containment field, posed a challenge to the class. Today we will be conducting a practical exercise in adaptive problem solving. The professor's thoughts reverberated through the classroom. You will be presented with a series of theoretical alien ecosystems. Your task is to design a sentient species capable of not just surviving, but thriving in these environments. You have 1 galactic standard hour. Begin. The air in the classroom buzzed with telepathic activity as students began to work. Zora X immersed herself in the challenge, her 4 arms moving in perfect synchronization as she manipulated the holographic interface. About halfway through the allotted time, she became aware of a commotion near the back of the room. Alex Chen was hunched over his workstation, furiously scribbling on a piece of archaic plant-based material with a primitive writing tool. Several students were projecting thoughts of amusement and disdain. Look at the primitive. It doesn't even know how to use the holographic interface. Perhaps we should provide it with some stone tablets and a chisel. Zora X felt a twinge of sympathy, remembering how long it had taken her to master the Academy's advanced technology. She was about to offer assistance when Professor Zycon's thoughts cut through the chatter. Time's up. Let's review your solutions. One by one, students presented their designs. There were silicon-based life forms for high-pressure environments, energy beings for gas giants, and even a species of sentient plants for a world of perpetual twilight. Each solution was met with approval from the professor and telepathic applause from the class. Finally, it was Alex's turn. The human stood up, clutching his paper, his face flushed with what Zora X had come to recognize as nervousness. Mr. Chen, Professor Zycon's thoughts held a note of curiosity. Please present your solution. Alex cleared his throat. For the high radiation world with extreme temperature fluctuations, I propose a species I call the adaptoids. He held up his paper, revealing a series of rough sketches. The adaptoids have a unique cellular structure that allows them to rapidly evolve in response to environmental changes. Their DNA is highly mutable, but with a fail-safe mechanism to prevent harmful mutations. As Alex continued to explain, Zora X found herself leaning forward, intrigued. The human solution was unorthodox, to say the least. In extreme heat, the adaptoid skin would develop reflective properties, while in extreme cold it would grow insulating fur. Their respiratory system could switch between filtering oxygen from air or water. Essentially, they're a species designed to adapt to any environment within a single lifetime. The classroom was silent for a moment before erupting into a cacophony of telepathic chatter. Preposterous. Completely impossible. Such a species would be an evolutionary nightmare. Professor Zykon's thoughts silenced the class. Interesting, Mr. Chen. While your solution is theoretically impossible given our current understanding of genetics and evolution, it shows a remarkable level of creative thinking. In science, it's often the impossible ideas that lead to breakthrough discoveries. Alex's face broke into a wide grin, a gesture that Zora X found oddly infectious. As they left the classroom, Zora X found herself walking beside Alex. That was unexpected, she said, using her vocal cords to communicate with him. How did you come up with that idea? Alex shrugged. On Earth, we have a saying, think outside the box. Sometimes, the best solutions come from ignoring what we think is impossible. Zora X pondered this. The concept of intentionally disregarding established knowledge seemed counterintuitive, yet she couldn't deny the appeal of Alex's innovative thinking. Their conversation was interrupted by Sexcon, a quartz being and one of the top students in their year. His crystalline body vibrated with barely contained anger. Do not let the professor's words go to your head. Primitive. Sexcon projected, his thoughts sharp and cutting. Your fanciful ideas have no place in real science. You're a joke, and your presence here is an insult to true intellect. Zora X felt a surge of anger at Sexcon's words. Before she could respond, however, Alex spoke up. You're entitled to your opinion, Dixicon, he said calmly. But I'm here to learn and contribute in whatever way I can. If my ideas challenge your preconceptions, perhaps that's not such a bad thing. Dixicon's crystalline form pulsed with fury. You dare to lecture me? Very well, ape. If you're so confident, I challenge you to a public debate. 3 days from now, in the Grand Hall. We'll see how your primitive mind fares against true intelligence. As Dixicon stormed off, Zora X turned to Alex. Are you sure about this? Dixicon is one of the most brilliant minds at the Academy. Alex's face wore an expression Zora X couldn't quite decipher. Was it determination? Amusement? I'm sure it'll be educational, he said. Besides, isn't vigorous debate part of the scientific process? Over the next 3 days, word of the impending debate spread through the Academy like wildfire. Students and faculty alike were buzzing with anticipation. Many saw it as an opportunity to put the upstart human in his place, while others were curious to see how the representative of this newly discovered species would fare. Zara X found herself spending more time with Alex, helping him prepare. She was surprised to find that despite his species' technological inferiority, Alex possessed a quick mind and a knack for lateral thinking that often left her reeling. On the day of the debate, the Grand Hall was packed. Chancellor Xylovox himself was in attendance, his energy form pulsing with interest. Zexcon took the stage first, his crystalline body refracting the light dramatically. Esteemed colleagues, he projected, his thoughts resonating through the hall. Today, I will demonstrate once and for all the vast gulf that separates true intellect from primitive speculation. The human's presence here is a mistake, one I intend to rectify. As Alex walked onto the stage, Zora X felt an unexpected wave of protectiveness. She had come to see past his physical appearance, recognizing the keen mind that lay beneath. More than that, she had come to appreciate his unique perspective, so different from the homogenized thinking that often pervaded the academy. The debate began, with Zigzagan presenting a complex theorem on the nature of dark energy. His argument was flawless, built on centuries of accumulated knowledge. When it was Alex's turn, he did something unexpected. Instead of trying to match Zigzagan's technical expertise, he took a different approach. "I won't pretend to have the depth of knowledge that Zigzagan possesses," Alex began. "Humanity is young, and we have much to learn. But perhaps that's our strength. We're not bound by centuries of established thinking. We're free to ask, what if?" What followed was not a technical rebuttal, but a series of questions and hypotheticals that probed the very foundations of Zigzagan's argument. Alex drew analogies from earth sciences, proposed thought experiments, and challenged assumptions that had gone unquestioned for millennia. The audience was rapt. Even those who had come expecting to see the human humiliated found themselves engaged by his unorthodox approach. As the debate concluded, the grand hall buzzed with discussion. Zigzagan, for all his knowledge, had been forced onto the defensive by Alex's probing questions and creative analogies. Chancellor Xylovox floated onto the stage, his energy form pulsing with excitement. "This," he projected, "is why we invited a human to join us. Not because they have all the answers, but because they ask questions we haven't thought to ask." Today has been most illuminating. As Alex left the stage, his face flushed with exertion and excitement. Zora X felt a swell of pride. The human had proven himself not by outdoing the aliens at their own game, but by changing the rules entirely. She rushed to meet him. "That was impressive," she said, surprised by the warmth in her own voice. Alex grinned. "Thanks. I have to admit, I was terrified. But you know what they say on Earth. Fake it till you make it." Zara X tilted her head, once again intrigued by these human sayings. "You have a lot of these Earth expressions, don't you?" "You have no idea," Alex laughed. "Stick with me, and you'll be speaking like a human in no time." As they walked out of the grand hall, Zora X realized something had changed. She no longer saw Alex as just an interesting anomaly, or a primitive being to be studied. She saw him as a friend, an equal, and perhaps something more. Little did they know, their growing bond would soon be tested in ways neither of them could imagine. The Alliance. In the weeks following the debate, the atmosphere at the Galactic Academy of Sciences shifted subtly. While some students still regarded Alex with skepticism, others began to seek him out, curious about the unique perspective he brought to their discussions. Zara X found herself at the center of this change, acting as a bridge between Alex and the wider alien community. It was during an advanced astrophysics practical that their budding alliance was put to the test. Professor Quasar, a being of pure cosmic energy, had set the class a seemingly impossible task: to design a method for safely extracting energy from a supermassive black hole. "You will work in pairs," Professor Quasar announced, her voice a melodious hum of radiation. "And to make things interesting, I'll be assigning the teams." Zara X felt a mix of anticipation and nervousness as the pairs were called out. Finally, she heard her name. Zara X and Alex Chen. A ripple of surprise went through the class. Pairing the top Andromedian student with the human was unexpected, to say the least. As they settled at their workstation, Zara X could sense the doubt emanating from their classmates. She turned to Alex, speaking aloud for his benefit. "Any ideas on where to start?" Alex's brow furrowed in concentration. "Well, on Earth, we have a concept called a Dyson sphere. It's a hypothetical megastructure that would encompass a star to capture its energy. Maybe we could adapt that idea for a black hole." Zara X's antenna twitched with interest. Intriguing. But the gravitational forces involved would tear apart any physical structure we could build. "True," Alex nodded. "But what if we don't try to resist the gravity? What if we use it instead?" For the next hour, They bounced ideas back and forth. Zara X was impressed by Alex's ability to think laterally, connecting disparate concepts in unexpected ways. She, in turn, provided the advanced scientific knowledge needed to turn those ideas into workable theories. As the deadline approached, they had developed a concept for what they called a gravity mill. It would use the intense gravitational field of the black hole to drive a series of quantum singularity engines, extracting energy from the very fabric of space-time itself. When it came time to present, the other teams showed variations on established theories. Some proposed massive energy collection arrays, others suggested tapping into Hawking radiation. All were impressive, but none were truly revolutionary. Then it was Zora X and Alex's turn. As they explained their gravity mill concept, Zora X could feel the shift in the room. The initial skepticism gave way to genuine interest, then excitement. Professor Quasar's form pulsed with approval. Exceptional work. You've combined cutting-edge quantum theory with an entirely novel approach. This is precisely the kind of innovative thinking we strive for at the Academy. As they left the classroom, still buzzing from their success, Alex turned to Zora X. We make a pretty good team, don't we? Zora X felt an unfamiliar warmth in her chest. Indeed we do. Your human perspective combined with my knowledge. It's a formidable combination. Their moment of triumph was interrupted by a commotion down the hall. A group of students was gathered around a holographic news projection. As Zara X and Alex approached, they caught snippets of an urgent broadcast. Unprecedented stellar phenomenon. Entire systems going dark. Galactic Council calling for immediate action. Pushing through the crowd, they got a clear view of the projection. It showed a map of the galaxy, with entire sectors blinking out one by one. What's happening? Alex asked, his voice tight with concern. A Nebulon student nearby answered, its gaseous form shimmering with agitation. It's some kind of energy-draining wave. It's already consumed 3 inhabited systems. Nothing like this has ever been recorded. Zara X felt a chill run through her. Those systems, they're all along the path to Earth. Alex's face paled. You don't think? Could this be aimed at Earth? Before Zara X could respond, Chancellor Xylovox's voice echoed through the Academy. All students and faculty, report to the Grand Hall immediately. This is not a drill. As they rushed to the Grand Hall, Zara X's mind raced. Why would anyone target Earth? It was a pre-FTL civilization, barely known to the galactic community. Unless... The Grand Hall was a sea of nervous energy when they arrived. Chancellor Xylovox's imposing form dominated the stage, pulsing with an urgency Zara X had never seen before. We face an unprecedented crisis, the Chancellor's thoughts boomed. An unknown force is systematically draining energy from entire star systems, leaving dead worlds in its wake. Our best scientists are baffled. We need solutions, and we need them now. The Chancellor's gaze swept the room, settling on Alex. Mr. Chen, your planet lies in the path of this phenomenon. We believe Earth may be the ultimate target. Do you have any insight that might help us understand what we're facing? All eyes turned to Alex. Zara X could sense his fear, but also a steely determination. He stepped forward, his voice steady. Chancellor, I think I might know what this is, but it's going to sound crazy. At this point, Mr. Chen, we're open to any theories, no matter how outlandish. Alex took a deep breath. On Earth, we have a theory, purely speculative, about a type of technology we call a gray goose scenario. It involves self-replicating nanomachines that consume everything in their path to create more of themselves. This energy wave sounds like it could be something similar, but on a cosmic scale. A murmur ran through the crowd. Zara X's mind reeled at the implications. If Alex was right, they were facing a threat unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Chancellor Xylovox's form flickered with concern. A plausible theory, Mr. Chen, but it raises more questions than answers. Who would create such a thing? And why target Earth? Alex shook his head. I don't know. But if I'm right, this isn't just a threat to Earth. It's a threat to the entire galaxy. The Chancellor's next words sent a shockwave through the hall. In light of this crisis, I'm suspending all regular Academy activities. Your new assignment is to find a way to stop this. Cosmic gray goo. Work in your project teams. Share information. We need solutions, and we need them fast. As the crowd began to disperse, buzzing with a mix of fear and determination, Zara X turned to Alex. It looks like our alliance is about to be put to the ultimate test. Alex nodded, his jaw set with determination. Earth is counting on us. The whole galaxy is counting on us. We can't let them down. As they left the Grand Hall, ready to tackle the greatest challenge of their lives, neither Zara X nor Alex realized that they were about to uncover a truth that would shake the foundations of the galaxy. A truth that lay hidden in the very reason for Alex's presence at the Academy and in the untapped potential of humanity itself. The cosmic chess game had begun, and Earth was the key piece on the board. The next move would determine the fate of not just one world, but of all worlds. And at the center of it all stood an unlikely pair. An alien prodigy and a human student, whose alliance would be the galaxy's best hope for survival. The conspiracy. The days that followed the Chancellor's announcement were a blur of feverish activity. The Galactic Academy of Sciences, once a bastion of theoretical pursuit and academic rivalry, had transformed into a war room. Students and faculty alike pored over data, ran simulations, and proposed increasingly desperate solutions to halt the advancing tide of cosmic destruction. Zara X and Alex had set up camp in one of the auxiliary research labs, surrounded by holographic displays showing the inexorable progress of the energy-draining wave. They had been working non-stop for what felt like days, fueled by a combination of stimulants and sheer determination. It doesn't make sense, Zara X muttered, her forearms moving in complex patterns as she manipulated the data streams. If this is some form of self-replicating technology, it should leave some trace, some pattern we can detect. But it's like it's not even there until it strikes. Alex, his eyes bloodshot from lack of sleep, nodded grimly. It's almost like it exists outside of normal space-time, appearing just long enough to consume a star system, then vanishing again. A thought struck Zara X. Alex, remember our gravity mill design. What if this thing is using black holes as gateways, jumping from one system to another through microscopic wormholes? Alex's eyes widened. That would explain the lack of warning, the seemingly random pattern of attacks. But to create stable wormholes on that scale, the energy requirements would be astronomical. Unless, Zara X's antenna quivered with excitement, it's not creating the wormholes. What if it's using ones that already exist? Their eyes met, a spark of understanding passing between them. Alex grabbed a datapad, his fingers flying over the surface. If we overlay the pattern of attacks with known black hole locations, the holographic display shimmered, then reformed. A clear pattern emerged, each attacked system connected by a web of gravitational anomalies. We need to tell the Chancellor, Zara X said, already moving towards the door. But before they could leave, the lab's security field activated, sealing them in. A moment later, the holographic form of Chancellor Xylovox materialized in the center of the room. Excellent work, you two. The Chancellor's thoughts carried an unfamiliar edge. I'm afraid I can't let you share this discovery just yet. Alex stepped forward, confusion etched on his face. Chancellor, I don't understand. This information could be crucial to stopping the attacks. The Chancellor's form flickered, a mix of emotions Zara X couldn't quite decipher rippling through his energy signature. The attacks, Mr. Chen, are not meant to be stopped. They are merely a test. Zara X felt as if the floor had dropped out from under her. A test. Chancellor, entire worlds are dying. A regrettable but necessary sacrifice, the Chancellor replied, his tone disturbingly calm. You see, we've been watching Earth for a long time. Your species' potential is unprecedented. But potential can be dangerous if left unchecked. Alex's face had gone pale. You're behind this. But why? Why target Earth? The Chancellor's form expanded, filling the room with pulsating energy. Humanity is on the brink of a breakthrough, Mr. Chen. A breakthrough that could upset the balance of power in the galaxy. This crisis, this threat, is a crucible. A test to see if humanity is ready for the next step. Zera X's mind raced. Everything they thought they knew was a lie. The Academy, the Galactic Council, perhaps even her own people, all part of some vast conspiracy. And what happens if humanity fails your test? She demanded. The Chancellor's response was chilling in its simplicity. Then the human experiment ends. Alex's hands clenched into fists. You can't do this. Earth is home to billions of innocent lives. We have art, culture, dreams. You can't just wipe us out because we don't fit into your grand plan. It's not my plan, Mr. Chen, the Chancellor replied. It's the natural order of the cosmos. Humanity represents a wild card, a species with the potential to upend millennia of careful balance. We must be certain you're ready for the responsibility that comes with your gifts. Zera X moved to stand beside Alex, her own resolve hardening. You're wrong, Chancellor. I've worked with Alex. I've seen what humans are capable of. They deserve a chance. The Chancellor's form flickered, a note of sadness entering his thoughts. I had hoped you would understand. Zora X, your insights have been invaluable in this project, but I see your time with Mr. Chen has clouded your judgment. Suddenly, the lab's systems began to power down. The holographic displays flickered and died, plunging the room into darkness. I'm sorry it has come to this, the Chancellor's voice echoed as his form faded. For what it's worth, I truly hope humanity proves me wrong. As the Chancellor's presence vanished, emergency lights bathed the lab in a red glow. Zara X turned to Alex, seeing her own determination mirrored in his eyes. We need to get out of here, Alex said, already moving to the sealed door. We have to warn Earth, warn everyone. Zara X nodded, her mind racing through possible escape routes. The ventilation system. It's designed for a variety of atmospheric conditions. We might be able to use it to reach the central hub. As they worked to remove the vent cover, a thought struck Zora X Alex. The Chancellor said humanity was on the brink of a breakthrough. Do you know what he meant? Alex paused, a conflicted expression crossing his face. I think I might. There's something I haven't told you, something I was sworn to secrecy about before I came here. Zara X felt a mix of curiosity and apprehension. What is it? Back on Earth, a team of scientists made a discovery, something that could change everything. They called it the Omega particle. Zara X's antenna stood straight up in shock. The Omega particle. But that's just a theoretical concept. A particle that could potentially rewrite the laws of physics itself. Alex nodded grimly. It's not theoretical anymore. We found a way to create it, to harness its power. That's the real reason I was sent here. To learn, yes, but also to gauge how the galactic community might react to this discovery. The implications were staggering. With the power of the Omega particle, humanity could leap forward centuries, perhaps millennia in technological development. They could reshape reality itself. We need to get to Earth, Zara X said, her resolve strengthening. We need to warn them, to stop this test before it's too late. As they climbed into the ventilation shaft, the enormity of their task settled over them. They were two students, alone against a conspiracy that spanned the galaxy. The fate of Earth, of humanity, perhaps of all sentient life, rested on their shoulders. But as Zora X glanced at Alex, seeing the determination in his eyes, she felt a glimmer of hope. Humanity had surprised her before. Perhaps they would do so again. The hunt was on. The race to save Earth had begun. And in the darkness of a sealed lab, an unlikely alliance between human and alien had become the galaxy's last, best hope for survival. The revelation. The journey through the Academy's labyrinthine ventilation system felt endless. Zara X and Alex crawled through narrow passages, their progress slowed by the need for stealth. Every sound, every vibration, could potentially alert their pursuers. As they navigated the maze-like structure, Alex's mind raced. The revelation of the Galactic Council's true intentions, the looming threat to Earth, the weight of the secret he carried. It all threatened to overwhelm him. But he pushed on, drawing strength from Zara X's unwavering presence beside him. Finally, they reached a junction that opened into a dimly lit maintenance corridor. Cautiously, they emerged from the vent, their eyes scanning for any sign of danger. "We need to find a way off this station," Alex whispered, his voice hoarse from the dust-filled vents. Zara X nodded, her antenna twitching as she extended her senses. "The shuttle bay is 2 levels down, but it'll be heavily guarded." "Then we need a distraction," Alex mused, his mind already formulating a plan. "Zara X, how good are you at hacking the Academy systems?" A sly smile spread across Zara X's face. "I may have picked up a few tricks. What did you have in mind?" 20 minutes later, alarms blared throughout the Academy. Emergency protocols activated, sealing off entire sections as the system detected multiple hull breaches that didn't actually exist. In the chaos that ensued, 2 figures slipped into the shuttle bay, quickly making their way to the smallest, fastest ship they could find. As Zara X's fingers danced over the control panel, bypassing security protocols and initializing the launch sequence, Alex stood watch. His heart pounded in his chest, every shadow seeming to hide a potential threat. "We're clear," Zara X announced, her voice tight with tension. "Launching in 3, 2, 1. The shuttle shot out of the bay. Axeler. The shuttle shot out of the bay, accelerating rapidly as it left the Academy behind. The vastness of space enveloped them, stars streaking past as they pushed the small craft to its limits. "They'll be after us soon," Zara X said, her 4 arms working in perfect synchronization across the control panels. "We need to get to Earth fast." Alex nodded, his face grim. "Can this thing do FTL?" "It can," Zara X confirmed, "but not for long. We'll need to make multiple jumps." As they prepared for their first jump, the ship's sensors blared a warning. Several larger vessels had launched from the Academy in hot pursuit. "Hang on," Zara X shouted as she initiated the FTL drive. The stars blurred into lines, then into a swirling vortex as the ship leaped into faster-than-light travel. Alex felt a moment of disorientation, then stillness as they emerged in a new sector of space. "Where are we?" he asked, looking at the unfamiliar star patterns. "About halfway to Earth," Zara X replied, her eyes never leaving the controls. "But we can't stay long. They'll be able to track our jump signature." For the next several hours, they played a deadly game of cat and mouse across the galaxy. Each jump brought them closer to Earth, but also drained their ship's limited energy reserves. Their pursuers, with their larger, more powerful ships, were slowly but surely gaining ground. During a brief respite between jumps, Alex turned to Zara X. "I still don't understand. Why go to all this trouble? Why not just destroy Earth if they think we're such a threat?" Zara X's antenna drooped slightly, a sign Alex had come to recognize as sadness. "It's not that simple. The Galactic Council, they're not evil, not really. They genuinely believe they're doing what's best for the galaxy. But they're afraid. Afraid of change, afraid of losing control. And the Omega particle represents that change," Alex mused. "Exactly. The ability to rewrite the laws of physics. It's power beyond imagining. In the wrong hands, it could destroy everything. But in the right hands, it could usher in a new age of progress and discovery," Alex finished. Their moment of understanding was interrupted by another alarm. Their pursuers had caught up. "One more jump," Zara X announced, her fingers flying over the controls. "It'll drain our reserves completely, but it should get us to Earth. As the ship shuddered, preparing for its final jump, Alex felt a mix of hope and dread. They were almost home, but what would they find when they got there? The jump was rougher this time, the ship groaning under the strain. When they emerged, the familiar blue marble of Earth hung before them, beautiful and fragile. But they weren't alone. A massive fleet of alien ships surrounded the planet, weapons primed and ready. No, Alex breathed, his heart sinking. We're too late. Suddenly, their communications panel lit up. A familiar voice filled the cabin. Zara X, Mr. Chen. Chancellor Xylovox's thoughts resonated with a mix of anger and, was that respect. I must admit, I'm impressed by your tenacity. But this ends now. Surrender, and I give you my word that you will be treated fairly. Alex's hands clenched into fists. They had come so far, fought so hard. He couldn't give up now. He looked at Zora X, saw the same determination in her eyes. Chancellor, Alex replied, his voice steady despite his racing heart. You say you're doing this to protect the galaxy. But from where I'm standing, you're the ones threatening billions of innocent lives. That's not protection. That's tyranny. There was a moment of silence. Then the Chancellor's voice returned, harder this time. You leave us no choice then. I truly am sorry it has come to this. The alien fleet began to move, weapons charging. Alex closed his eyes, bracing for the end. But the expected attack never came. Instead, a new voice crackled over the comm system, a human voice. This is Admiral Chen of the Earth Defense Force. Unknown fleet, you are in violation of sovereign Earth space. Stand down immediately or face the consequences. Alex's eyes snapped open in shock. Dad, he whispered. The space around Earth shimmered, and suddenly a new fleet appeared, sleek, advanced ships that certainly hadn't existed when Alex left Earth. Admiral Chen's voice continued. Chancellor Xylovox, we know about your test. We know about the artificial threat you created. Did you really think we wouldn't have countermeasures in place? On the view screen, Alex and Zara X watched in awe as the Earth fleet engaged the alien armada. But instead of destruction, beams of energy connected the ships, creating a complex web of light. What's happening? Zara X asked, her antenna twitching in confusion. Realization dawned on Alex. The Omega particle, he breathed. They're using it to rewrite the rules of engagement. Indeed. As they watched, the alien weapons powered down, rendered inert by the strange energy field. The Earth ships, meanwhile, moved with impossible speed and precision, corralling the alien fleet without firing a single shot. Admiral Chen's voice returned, this time addressing everyone. Chancellor, members of the Galactic Council, we understand your fears. The power we've discovered is indeed terrifying in its potential, but we refuse to be judged based on what we might do. We ask instead to be judged on what we have done. The energy web expanded, enveloping all the ships in a soft, pulsating glow. Alex felt a strange sensation, as if reality itself was shifting around them. The Omega particle doesn't have to be a weapon, Admiral Chen continued. It can be a tool, a means to bridge the gap between all sapient species. We offer you not conquest, but cooperation, a chance to explore the true potential of the universe together. There was a long moment of silence. Then, slowly, the alien ships began to power down. Chancellor Xylovox's voice, when it came, was filled with a mix of awe and humility. It seems we have gravely underestimated humanity, he said. Perhaps it is time for us to listen, rather than judge. As the tension of the standoff dissipated, replaced by the tentative beginnings of dialogue, Alex felt a hand on his shoulder. He turned to see Zora X, her eyes shining with an emotion he couldn't quite name. You did it, she said softly. You proved them wrong. You proved me wrong. Alex shook his head, smiling. We did it, he corrected. None of this would have been possible without you. Zara X, you took a chance on a primitive human, remember? As their small ship was guided into the landing bay of the Earth flagship, Alex realized that this wasn't an ending, but a beginning. Humanity had passed its test, but the real challenges and opportunities lay ahead. The galaxy was about to change, and at the forefront of that change would be an unlikely alliance, a human student and his alien friend, ready to bridge the gap between worlds and usher in a new era of galactic cooperation. As the docking clamps engaged and the airlock hissed open, Alex took a deep breath. Whatever came next, he knew one thing for certain. The future was going to be anything but boring.